Hello, this is Sinta Ebersohn from Fair Divorce, and today we're going to talk about being single, being available out in the market, and getting out into the dating scene again. 11th of November is Singles Day, and that's what we're going to talk about. And with me here is Armand Aucamp of Koer.co.za. Armand, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, my pleasure. Nice to see you, Sinta. Hi to all the listeners.
Please tell everybody what is Koer.co.za.
So, yeah, that's our website, Koer.co.za. But Koer is South Africa's first dating app. So it's an Afrikaans dating app specifically to encourage Afrikaans speaking or English people who would like to make connections in Afrikaans or with Afrikaans people. And it is a dating or connection app. We also encourage, there's a large part of our user base who are abroad, who are South Africans, who would like to keep in contact or possibly find love in Afrikaans. So there's a huge expat community as well. And also friendships. I mean, the tradition of pen pals and that kind of thing has died out. So we would like to encourage just communication, but our main focus is connecting people with the goal of finding love. And that's literally our user base goes from 18 is the youngest, up until 86 is our oldest user. So yeah, we're very proud to have South Africa's first Afrikaans dating app.
Wonderful. I was delighted to discover it, and the Afrikaans language is particularly nice that you use on it. Please tell us more about that. You talk about joining the Koer Vote. That's the platform, eh?
Yes. So this was kind of my brainchild. I had this idea one evening when I was at a braai, and I grew up English, although my parents are Afrikaans, and we always kept Afrikaans as our home language. I ended up going to school in English, but so my broader friendship group predominantly are English speaking. And I had a friend, a girlfriend, tell me, Armand, don't you know any nice Afrikaans boys? All I want is a nice boereseer. And I said, give me a year and I'll create something for you. So that's kind of where everything got started. And then I asked 3 people to join me on this venture. So I've got 3 incredible business partners, one of which is a copywriter. Her name is Martini Burger. And she is just so innovative, witty, and so well versed in Afrikaans that we've really created a beautiful language within our app. As you said, so the platform is called Koer, and for the English-speaking people who are not familiar with that word, it is what 2 lovebirds do. They coo. So it's like cooing. So we've gone with that whole bird theme, and the area where all the profiles are. We play with Oerwoud, which is a forest, and we just called it the Koerwoud. So they are these lovely little gems and puns and wittiness because it plays so well in with our goal, which is Afrikaans and finding love in Afrikaans. And what a beautiful language Afrikaans is to flirt in. It's wonderfully expressive, and I think we've got an incredible creative team. Our designer, Dewald van Sail, he's just created the most beautiful looking app, which I'm very excited to mention before the end of the year, we are relaunching the app with a brand new look and feel, which I think the users will really enjoy.
Well, then our timing is perfect with this.
Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful. I love the look and feel of it and the language and the play with, like you said, lovebirds doing each other. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm sure everybody.
Thank you.
Loves it. So as you know, I work with families who are going through separation and divorce and even blending new families. So dating is always a hot topic for people who are in the process of divorcing and reestablishing new dynamic. There are lots of questions around when you should start dating after a breakup, should you involve your children in it, and all sorts of things that we discuss at length. And you will find more articles on the website of fairdivorce.co.za. But to come back to Koer, what is your experience with people who are newly divorced or separated that land on Koer?
So we don't ask whether you are divorced or recently divorced. We don't infringe on that kind of personal information, but there are loads of profiles that offer up that information in their biography. So you have complete privacy when it comes to that, but we do give you some opportunity to describe yourself in certain a certain amount of words and so forth. And a lot of people offer that information up. So therefore we can see, okay, there's a lot of single dads, a lot of single moms, widowers. We actually had a beautiful story from a user that actually met her fiance. Now they're getting married in a couple of months on Koer. And she's young, she's I think 37, and she lost her partner unfortunately in an accident. So you've got these people who are vulnerable and putting themselves out there for finding love for a second time or as it may be, but there is a big community, and that is exactly what part of our goal was as well, is people finding a second chance of falling in love for a second chance and so forth. And we do receive quite a lot of feedback from people going, I found this amazing person, or I don't know how to do this, because also in the world that we're in now, before COVID and before the pandemic, online dating seemed to, it was growing in leaps and bounds. And then of course the pandemic hit. So it really is a safe place to get that connection starting. You can literally be on the comfort of your couch at home, and there is no pressure to talk to anyone, and there is no pressure to ever meet anyone. So it really is a comfortable and safe way to go about forging new connections. Especially for someone who, like you said, has so many questions, so many vulnerabilities when it comes to putting yourself out there after X amount of years being married. So I would just encourage people to not be afraid and just put yourself out there. There's nothing you can lose.
Well, I was about to say that online dating has a bad name and it has beautiful stories to tell at the same time. What is it that makes it safe?
Well, everything is in your control. You are in the comfort of your home. There is no putting yourself out there, out in compromising positions initially. But you must always remember, as soon as you leave your front door and you go on a date or a meeting or so forth, you, as with anything, if you've answered a newspaper advert or going on a blind date that a friend set you up with, you've always have to have your wits about you, whether it is an online dating or if it is a blind date or whatever. So we really, because for some reason there is a lot of scope for people to possibly be done in by, forging an online relationship for a year or more and then being conned. I think in the newspaper the other day, there was an American site that they captured a lot of scammers, and scammers are everywhere. They're on our Facebook, they're in our emails, they're everywhere. Mm. So it really, just because you're on an online dating platform doesn't mean you have to let your common sense out the door with respect to any interaction with anyone online ever.
Well said. It's up to ourselves to ensure our own security and like
absolutely
just keep our wits about us. But then there are lots of scammers out there. Do you have on your platform any way of checking whether people are actually telling the truth? What actually comes to mind is I wonder if there are statistics available about the percentage of people that actually put on completely false profiles and put a whole face and image forward that's far from the truth.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole trend that we've seen since the beginning of, I think, social media, is a thing called catfishing, and using someone else's photo as your own, just creating a completely false profile on any online platform. We do have an amazing team that vet profiles, and we have means and ways to curb that. very successfully, because you don't want to catch a scammer after they've scammed. You want to catch them before they've scammed. So we really do have some really innovative protocols in place to block profiles that raise flags, whether it's a profile that doesn't have a picture, or then names don't correlate with certain other personal information. We catch them before, and then they've got to verify. Then we'll send you an email that says, maybe this profile looks suspicious. Can you please verify yourself? And then we've got certain protocols that we follow as well. But yeah, no, we've been very fortunate in the way we vet profiles, and it gets tough. I mean, we've really grown over the past year. We've gone from inception to today, touching 31,000 profiles. Wow. So there's yeah, it's amazing. So there are a lot of people out there who have just make life a little bit difficult, but we have really, really good processes in place and an amazing team that run our back end.
Well, that's good to know. Good to know that there's a measure of safety, but yeah.
What I also want to say is there's also a responsibility. If you are speaking to someone that's being inappropriate, you can let us know.
Yes.
There is a report button, there is a block button, and our email is readily available, and you can please get in touch with us, tell us your story, and we will check it out.
Yes, well, that's good to know. So if I were to join this a site, and I'm out in the market and I'm looking for something, what tips or advice would you give somebody? How do you put your profile together? Are there do's and don'ts? Are there things that work better than other things? How honest?
Absolutely. Sorry, what was that last question?
How honest should you be?
I think you should be honest, but I think so. First of all, it does make a huge difference the way you set up your profile. I can understand that putting yourself out there is intimidating, but the profiles that don't have your face on, so a lot of people would put a flower or a quote or a biblical quote, just because they don't quite want to put themselves out that much. That makes it more difficult for other people to want to connect with you, because they don't really know who they're dealing with, and that doesn't invoke trust, so I want to see who I'm speaking to. The other thing that we find does really well is if you invest a little bit of time in your little bio that we give you, and there you can be honest, and it's up to you about how much you want to reveal about yourself. But I would recommend to not put everything in that bio, because you do want to have a conversation with someone, and you want someone to be intrigued by you and ask you out, so that there is dialogue that can happen. If you read everyone's entire life story, then you don't leave much to the other person to want to discover about you. Yes. So those are the biggest do's and don'ts. So put your own face out there. Choose a photo that looks like you, that resembles you as you are now, and have fun, and wit and a little bit of humor goes a long way in that little biography. Then the other thing is you can set what your gender is, and you can set what gender you are wanting to see. Then you can also set your location. So especially in the beginning, we would find someone who puts very specific, almost too specific. So they're looking from 41 to 43 in a 20-kilometer radius. So you're really limiting yourself, because there might be no one in your immediate 10-kilometer area for those specific ages. So yeah, just keep it as broad as you would like. You never know, you never know who will fall into your net by just expanding your preferences slightly. And then we often see that people really do start chatting when they just adjust with a year or two, or 50 kilometers as opposed to 10 or so.
Keep the options open.
Yeah, exactly.
So for a separated or divorced person, you mentioned earlier that you don't actually ask whether people are married or separated. So the marital status is not a question that you have to answer.
No,
right.
No.
And any other personal information, like I know on some dating sites they ask how tall you are and how much you weigh and all those sort of things to give people a good idea of or what physical condition you are in? Do you ask questions like that?
We don't at the moment. We have gotten some inquiries where people say it would be nice to know, what the height is. Are they a smoker or not smoker? Do they drink at all? Do they not drink it? Anything. What is, So those are things that we are looking at with our new update. But it becomes tricky because you are already looking at people's profiles at their image, and to put so much focus on physical attributes and so much focus. It's a conversation that we as a company are having. I know some other sites do that, but instead we've got some other fun things that we do ask. So what are your interests? And we've got a whole bunch of categories. If it's, for example, lifestyle, then there's a little drop down below lifestyle. And what does that mean? Are you a yogi? Are you an athlete? Are you a hiker? Do you enjoy hunting? So there are many interesting, fun questions, preset questions that are very quick to answer, and that will appear on your profile. So there is a lot of information that you can reveal, and therefore find other people who are like-minded, or possibly you both surf, and that's something that immediately there's a connection or a conversation point. We're also playing with the idea of keeping it fun. So we're going to possibly give you 10 emojis to choose from, and you can choose 10 emojis that best describe you. And there, it would say a little cigarette if you're a smoker, or a glass of wine if you enjoy the odd drink, a religious sign if you are religious. So we are looking at fun, innovative, engaging conversation starters.
So take me through the steps. If I decide to join, I open my profile, I put in all the information and my photo, and then what happens?
Yeah, so you would either download the app from App Store or Google Play. We are busy launching a Huawei version as well. You download the app, and the first thing it would ask you is to sign up through email or through Google. I think if you have Google email or another email, or Apple. Then it would ask you your a one-time PIN, which we will email you. So it often lands in a junk folder, so just keep an eye out there. But it is just a 5-digit PIN. You pop it in there and you start. 9 steps. What is your name? What is your gender? Who are you looking for? What is the age range you're looking for? Add some photos. Choose your preference, your likes and dislikes, your lifestyle questions, and finally a little bio that you are free to type whatever you'd like. And then you're done. It's literally a 5-minute process. Then you're in the Koer vote, and we will show you profiles according to your specifications that you've input. Now, if profile lands, the first profile, you have the option to either kus, which means to dodge or duck, rather move on to the next profile, or Koer. Yeah, so it's a kus of a Koer. And what makes this site different to other or rather apps, rather different than other apps out there, is there has to be a mutual match before anyone can say anything to each other.
Okay.
But we want to give everyone a fair chance to make a first impression. So if I was on the app and you pop up Sinta in my Koer vote, and I Koer you, it unlocks a little message box, and I can make a second impression by typing you a little letter. So it's like a secret admirer's letter, which you will then receive on your side in a little post box. You will see that it's Armand 34 and what I've said. So I could write you a little limerick, I can write you a little joke, or just for me to make a different impression than just my face. And then it's completely anonymous. You on your side can either choose to engage with me or to dodge me, Koer of kus me, and it is completely anonymous. I would never know. I would just not get a response from you, and that's up to you. So you've got a double chance to just make a good impression, and it's completely anonymous. No one will ever know if you've rather decided to move on from them or not. And if you accept my little secret admirers letter, we can then chat in the chat room uninhibitedly, as we please.
Okay. Just something that I'm wondering about is, when do people exchange personal contact details? Do they do that on the site? Do you provide it up front? How does it work?
To someone you're busy chatting to.
Two people that connect with each other.
So that's another big thing that we encourage people not to do from the get-go. We often find people within a day go, oh, here's my cell phone number, before they really get to, I mean, so would you give your cell phone number out to any stranger? So that's why we would encourage you to stay on the platform as long as you can, until you feel comfortable to exchange numbers. Yeah, we often find that people have come back and said, you know, this, I didn't particularly like this interaction, but none of the connections really happened on the site. It happened offline, and then there's, you know, you must always remember you have the responsibility and the freedom to do as you please. And if you don't feel safe giving your number out, stay on the site. It works just as well, and chat there until you really feel comfortable.
Sounds great. So I'm dying to ask, this friend of yours that asked you, or said to you that she wishes she could just meet a nice Bruce, and did she find one? Has she found one?
No, she actually moved abroad and is dating a British man.
She's not on.
She did date him. No, she met him a couple of months after she said that to me, and it could have took over a year to make. So in the interim, but there is a platform for her now if she ever does become single.
Wonderful. So tell me, do you have any interesting stories, beautiful stories of people that met and are living happily ever after, or found the love of their lives, or the second love of their lives, or their soulmates?
Yeah. It's amazing the amount, obviously, you know, the stories we know are only because people offer it up to us and they email us. But we've had some incredible stories. The one that I referred to earlier, her fiance passed in a car accident, and she's found this wonderful man, and they've been so kind and generous, sending us, constantly updating us with their wedding, with their engagement shoot and their planning. Some parents have contacted us and saying, you know, just thanking the service because their daughter has met someone or their son has met someone and they're really happy. And then months later, getting a message from the same parent saying they're engaged now. So we're like vicariously living through all these love stories. Because that's the point at the end of the day, is to not be on the site forever, to find love, or to find a partner. So we regularly post stories that people send us on our social media. We try and have one couple a month called our Koer case, that we focus on, and we would share their story, their love story. The other day, a local pilot got engaged to his girlfriend that he met on the site while they were flying. So there was a little video of them getting engaged, which was really lovely. I think there was someone on television on a game show. I don't know if I may call it on its name or not, but anyway, she also found her husband. And I was like, these people are getting married really quickly. This site has only been live for a year and 3 months, but I'm so happy for them. And it's interesting enough. What I've also found is just from the stories that we have been given, it's the matches that escalate quite quickly, and they end up getting engaged or married are from expats who live abroad, and they are so busy working on an oil rig or in a mine in Australia or wherever that we've literally had people fly over for dates. Like, I flew over, I took on a date,
wow, and
2 months later we both just knew this was it, which has been an interesting trend. And some in Namibia, because we are worldwide, so we want people to. Lots of Namibians also getting engaged, which is amazing.
Fabulous. It seems to me like you enjoy being the matchmaker. It's wonderful. Yeah. And I'm glad it's lovely to hear so many stories, because especially when you've just come out of a relationship and you're recovering from a breakdown, treacherous ground.
Very,
I've,
very.
we come out of broken relationships. I don't want to use the word broken, actually. Relationships that come to an end leave us with some fears and insecurities.
Absolutely.
That we have to work through. And it's wonderful to know there's a safe place to do it. And I'm absolutely delighted that it's in Afrikaans. Well done. Congratulations, and I wish you all the best. And for whoever's watching this video, I will put the direct links in the comments below the video where you can get hold of Koer and get more information. It will all be there for you to find. So Armand, thank you so much for your time. And
thank you, Sinta.
This with us. I'm excited and I'm looking forward to hearing more and more good stories.
Thank you so much. We will definitely be in touch.
Or happy new beginnings, shall I say that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Thank you so much.